a draft with low damage, and I'm really worried about Corki's effectiveness staring down a Wukong and a Bessa and a Rakan, which is the main setup, right? So if you eat that charm because you can't play too far away from your team, we'll have to see a lot of bodies shifting into this river. Tien will secure that first grub. Unstoppable Onslaught, that's not coming to the top river. Might have scared some people, but Breeze going back towards that bot side. Question becomes, will Shadow use the Trickster to get over the wall to secure the last grub?
Nice.
No. They're going to give away these grubs, and not for very much gain. The Dragon still just chilling on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. I know that Chemtech is one of the Drakes that people don't necessarily...
The Light does spot on
Knight.
coming over, and they don't know where Knight is. So Light, you have to be real careful about coming up for this wave. And just as I'm giving him praise, he gets completely collapsed upon. No point burning any summoners. Light just accepting his fate there. First blood over to BLG Knight.
Nice and easily going to be picked up here as well. You do get to establish a good push in the mid lane. That's going to blow a teleport most likely out of Knight into the mid lane. And you're going to pick yourself up the Drake. So you are trading this for objectives. Waybo, they're not going to be mad about losing out onto that kill, but there was no reason for Light to step up there. There has been Slippery again. This is what you can do with the Rakan. You can just keep constantly stepping up forwards. As long as you've got somebody around to be able to battle dance to, you're so chill.
That's a big chunk. Oh, great Trickster. That is so unfortunate.
Yikes.
Chris thought he had a big Bass cop, but instead he just finds an empty line on the other side, and now Chris is going to have to pay for it with his life. He used everything to set up that engage onto Shadow, and Elk is still going to end up chasing him down. Going to use the Featherstorm Blade Caller to secure the kill. Tien jumps in a little bit too far forward. They want to go after Elk, but he does flash over the big pit. Doesn't matter. The rocket finds him over the wall. Light picks up the kill, and the Cyclone will not save Shadow. One more shot from the Spear of Tien. Will he get it? Yes, he will. Wind becomes lightning, and lightning shuts down the monkey. Holding a Dragon up for Waybo to secure that, and not a lot of turrets low enough to really capitalize on. But why do you need turrets when you can just hunt for feats of warfare with a good old dive on the bin? Has flash, has public execution. Could use it to get right back across the engage onto Chris. And look at On fly into the double charm into the grand entrance. The shockwave from Xiaohu not going to be enough because the turret's the MVP. Remember, that was a dive from Waybo. And they take a dive falling flat on their face going for it.
And they do that instead of just picking up the Drake for themselves, which gives more than enough time for the Rift Herald to be picked up. It's going to be charged into the mid lane. Breathe arrives just about in time to stop this. No, he doesn't. The tower still goes down. And look, topside. Breathe comes down to try to stop that tower going down. Just in map pressure upon map pressure right now. That is a rough series of plays right here for Waybo.
It's so promising to see BLG playing the map correctly like this. Has been... Trades his life 1 for 1, but you'll take that. The support gets the kill as he knocks down Xiaohu. And hey, remember when I was talking about good old feats of anything not being taken? BLG in that play took 2 in the matter of 10 seconds. We don't have time to talk about that, though, because the fighting has now just fully broken open. It is a war zone out here across Summoner's Rift as Light tries to knock around Crisp here on the backside of the fight, but the Cyclone does knock up Chris. TPing in is Breathe. Light flashes after Shadow. Try and find that kill. Knight gets knocked off of his Weaver's wall, but the flick back into the flash. The golden left hand is still left standing. Oh, Breathe. Oh.
You've got Knight and Breathe currently up on the top side of the map, duking it out over those waves, but no TPs on either of them, so Knight's going to head down.
Shadow was running at Tien with torrential pace, and maybe it was because On is here. Gets the Charm, Grand Entrance combo, public execution, everything dumped onto Tien. The Shockwave, not enough to save his jungler. Xiaohu has to watch Tien fall, and likely watch the last tier 1 turret they have up fall after that. Light is here to try and cover, but their structure is gone. It might even be an Otacon turn here if BLG are feeling feisty. Started up simultaneously. There is a ward on the pit that is giving Waybo a clue that BLG are just going for this Drake. They're trying to drag it away. Weaver's Wall comes out from Knight. Tien and Xiaohu are on the right side of it. Tien gets into the pit. Breathe, holding everyone at bay, but we're just going to 50-50 this thing. Coin flip it, and the Blade Caller of Elk wins it. Shadow can use the Trickster to create some space away from Tien, but they do catch out. Bin on the top side, goes a little bit too far forward, has to flash out. On using the Charm, though, to provide him just enough coverage to get back out of dodge.
On's looked really, really good so far on this Rakan, has been doing work and keeping his members alive. This is just going to be a full shove down onto this bottom lane tower. Do they even have enough damage to be able to do it? Yes.
They should have just enough. They take a lot of damage, including Otacon way out of its home base. Might be putting it lightly. My lord blocks her.
Yeah, this is very fast. Atakan is one of the slowest moving objectives usually, and this one has just been melted straight through. BLG, they're going to be able to pick this one up nice and jump back, you know, dancing his way through. Shadow is pushed away from stealing away a red buff on...
On gets caught. Oh, the Bloxer caster curse. They finally find the Rakan, and now all bets are off. Waybo are chasing after Shadow. The Cyclone, the Trickster, can he get towards Light? Yes, just to give himself that shutdown kill. Little bit too pesky on the invade, and now BLG are paying the toll, and Bin's the next one to fall. Remember, he already used his flash earlier. A lifeline opening up wide for Weibo Gaming.
Everything was going wrong for Waybo, but they punish BLG on the over-aggression, and it all stems off the fact that On doesn't know that there's a Scion.
You can prod your way down with this champion if you're tankier, so.
Yeah,
great itemization for Breathe, who is not present for this play, as Chris goes for the double crash down. Featherstorm coming across, the TP's coming in for Breathe, but Chris booked a one-way trip towards the fountain. The TP's just a bit too late. Waybo is disjointed, trying to make up their mind whether to go in or go out. And they got to go out one way or another from this Baron play.
It's just shredding this thing. It's down below half.
4v5. Tien's got to get in there. BLG, though, public execution hits back onto Xiaohu. Breathe, those going to create some distance. The Cyclone comes across. Huge crescent guard. Knocks a lot of members of BLG off the back of this fight. Tien's able to single out Bin. But the Blade Color, the damage from Elk's Zaya is very, very potent. He's going to have to flash away from Tien. Kiting back safely. Gets another Blade Color down.
Elk.
It's all on Elk. And boy, does he just smash down Weibo.
Every single one of those Blade Callers lands, stunning people up, and he's just able to shred through the opposition. That's going to be straight back onto the Baron. Crisp is here, though. Teleport coming in from Xiaohu. They have to walk away from this Baron, otherwise you're going to get your heads ripped off with just so much Orianna damage available.
You know, 10 seconds on Breathe without teleport. Yeah, they're going to have to give this. So they don't get the main course. They'll take an appetizer. Infernal Soul Point for BLG. Play to dump a ton into a 2.5 item Scion. Bin gonna be spotted trying to set up another public execution wrap of his own. Here we go. Unstoppable onslaught charge forward. Force out the Featherstorm, but Chris has him in place. They have completely knocked Elk out of this fight at first, but it doesn't matter because look who flies in from the wings. It's both Bin and Shadow to take out Light. What does the fight look like with neither of these big-time marksmen? It looks like Knight is dancing around Chris, and Tien, whose Crescent Guard will protect him no longer. No Elk, no problem. BLG are going to find themselves a wipe of a fight, and Breathe might not even live through his giant health bar. No, he will not. Bilibili Gaming, ace down home.
It's still going to be a trade back. Breathe at least manages to pick one up, but Knight is going to be alive. Bin's going to be alive, and with a wave already pushing in right here, they can crack open the base of Waybo. It's 15 seconds until some of these big carries are back up and available. This is not going to be the end of the game, but still, to have the base open at this point in the game is huge right here for BLG, and that's a fight where they lose Elk right at the very beginning, and it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. By spotting the Baron start, they get pulled off of that. They do get control of this mid wave, like you called out, that has super minions.
Yeah,
and I wonder if there's a base racing angle or just breaking down the front door if you're BLG. Got Weibo, and it's such a tough spot. Look, they can't decide what they want to do. Do they back out? Do they fight? Do they go for the Baron? Almost making a decision for them. Gets the multiple knockup, slips on out. Bin in the middle of all 5 members of Weibo, but he's taking a hell of a long time to die, and the GA does pop. Bin has done his job, distracted all of Weibo, and look at Shadow slipping in undisguised, but Light has more than enough damage to put him down, and it's once again the 80 carries become the prime, distinct pedestal of this team fight. But even with the zombified corpse of Breathe, Weibo are just out of juice, out of health bars, and out of ways to escape. The route that's coming, the golden left hand wants more blood. On puts him up. Another knockup comes across, and Breathe. Knight will find the kill, and flashing forward is Elk to find the ace. There it is. Open lane mid. BLG are going to take our first game 1-0. Elk and Bin are way too low, and now they're spotted. They're going to keep going for it. Not afraid to Breathe to come across the river. Infernal Soul picked up, and Shadow doing a really good job making sure nobody's getting cheeky towards that Baron pit. Makes this gold lead even bigger.
Melts.
And the same thing is true of Bloxer. Elk melts neutral objectives. Tien doesn't even sniff the pit before this one goes over. Weaver's wall comes down from Knight.
Oh, it's
Xiaohu's
great.
cut off. There's no way for the Orion to get in, so they go after Tien. The Crescent Guard does hit 3 members. Can Xiaohu get a big shockwave off? He's still waiting on it. Gets on, but look at Elk over the wall once again, just dealing out tons of damage that nobody on Weibo has an answer for. Shadow flies in, bit on the back end, trying to make sure nobody can escape, but nobody can shut down this big bad Zaya alongside Knight. The range damage dealers for BLG, again the focal point for a fight win.
That Baron lasted all of about 2 seconds, and that wasn't even with Knight hitting it. Now you've got the Baron buff available to you. This top lane tier 2 tower going to fall very, very quickly. What else can you get for this? You do not have that mid lane inhibitor down again. Knight going to get chased by Tian, and he has very little mana.
Oh, but he's got an Infernal Soul.
Nope.
Doesn't matter.
Push coming through on the bottom side of the map. The wave is moving away from BLG in the top side though, so they're not going to be able to sync up all 3 waves. That's going to make it a little bit harder potentially to be able to push forwards.
Knight though is going to drop the Weaver's wall. This is a good strategy to knock down the tier 3 turret, but the shockwave hits onto Elk. Gets chunked down to about half HP. Waybo trying to push forward to punish them for the redemption comes across. There's the crash down from Chris, but once again, Bid finds Xiaohu. He weaves the public execution through, and boy, does it take the wind out of the sails. It might have taken 10 minutes extra, but it's still BLG coming out on top in our opening bout.
This for the battle for second place right here in Group Ascend. Gonna go BLG's way in game number 1. Pick this one up. The wave down in the bottom side of the map is going to wander on through for them. Yes, it did take a little bit of extra time, Slayer, but it doesn't matter in the end. BLG look revitalized. Shadow has been so much to this team, but in this game, Elk has been ripping heads.
Elk finishes with an outstanding stat line, 20 KP and 1 death for Knight.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.